The Genesis GV80 has been turning heads since the day it arrived, and for good reason. Stunning design, a genuinely premium cabin, and a price tag that undercuts the German competition by a wide margin. But owning one is a different story. Beneath all that polish, there are real frustrations that buyers are running into every single day. If you're seriously considering this SUV, you need to hear this first, because we've found 5 reasons why you should not buy a Genesis GV80. Number 5. Glitchy locking. Picture this. You've just parked at the grocery store, you grab your bag, step out, and walk away, fully expecting your $60,000 luxury SUV to lock itself behind you. It doesn't. You come back 20 minutes later and it's been sitting there unlocked the whole time. That's exactly what GV80 owners are dealing with, and the frustration is very real. The GV80 does not offer walk-away auto-locking. When you walk away with the key fob in your pocket, the vehicle stays unlocked. No click, no confirmation, nothing. What makes it even more confusing is that the SUV will automatically unlock and extend the mirrors when you approach, so new owners naturally assume it will do the reverse on the way out. It doesn't. Now think about what walkaway locking actually means in everyday life. It's the kind of feature you stop noticing after about a week, because it just works, silently, every single time you leave your vehicle. That peace of mind is something most drivers have come to expect as completely standard in this class, but the GV80 is going to take that away. The touch-activated door handles come with their own set of quirks on top of that. To lock without the fob, you need to find and press a small sensor on the exterior handle. If your hand covers both sides of that handle at the same time, the system gets confused and simply won't respond. Rain or a recent car wash, same issue. The sensors become unreliable in wet conditions, and there's a built-in 3-second delay after unlocking before the system will accept a lock command, which makes a quick exit genuinely aggravating. Things aren't much smoother on the inside either. You can't press the interior door panel lock button while the door is still open. The vehicle physically blocks that action, forcing you to either use the fob, shut the door first, or go into the My Genesis app after the fact. For a vehicle at this price point, the locking system is going to feel like a step backward, and that's a frustrating enough starting point. But the locking issue is really just a symptom of a broader question worth asking. What else is Genesis leaving out of this SUV that buyers at this level have every right to expect? Number 4. Still no hybrid powertrain. The automotive world is moving fast. Hybrids are no longer a niche choice. They're quickly becoming the default in the luxury segment. BMW has one, Mercedes has one, Lexus built its entire luxury reputation around one, and the GV80, still no hybrid option anywhere in the lineup. Think about who's buying this SUV. It's typically someone who appreciates refinement, long-distance comfort, and the feeling that their vehicle represents smart value. A hybrid powertrain would check every single one of those boxes. Better fuel efficiency, smoother power delivery at low speeds, and a quieter overall driving experience. The technology is proven and widely available, yet Genesis is going to keep offering only turbocharged gasoline engines, leaving a significant gap in the lineup. Consider the driver who puts 15,000 miles a year on their SUV, mostly highway runs, the occasional road trip, and daily errands. Over 5 years, the fuel savings from a well-engineered hybrid system can easily reach several $1,000s. That's not a small number, especially when you've already spent this much on the vehicle itself. Rivals are offering exactly that option. The GV80 isn't. Buyers who are cross-shopping the GV80 against German rivals are increasingly walking out with a plug-in hybrid instead, simply because the option exists. Genesis is going to be competing with one hand tied behind its back for as long as this gap remains. And if you think the absence of a hybrid is frustrating on paper, wait until you see what it's doing to the fuel economy figures in real-world driving, because that's where this story gets even harder to ignore. Number 3. Disappointing fuel economy. Here's the reality that a lot of GV80 brochures won't put front and center. This SUV is not a particularly efficient vehicle. The 2.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder is the base engine, and it's doing its best, but the numbers are going to disappoint anyone hoping for a respectable fuel economy from a modern luxury SUV. The V6 option makes things noticeably worse. Real-world driving is pushing many owners well below what they were expecting at the pump. In the city, figures in the low to mid-teens in miles per gallon are not unusual with the V6. On the highway, things improve, but not dramatically. For context, several of its competitors are offering plug-in hybrid variants that can cover daily commutes on electricity alone and still deliver competitive highway figures when needed. The GV80 isn't in that conversation. Here's where it starts to feel personal. Most buyers in this segment are filling up a vehicle that costs upward of $55,000, and they're doing it more often than they expected. More often than their neighbor with a comparable European SUV, and more often than the salesperson probably mentioned during the test drive. Over a typical ownership period, that gap at the pump adds up to real money. It's the kind of thing that quietly erodes the ownership experience, week after week, tank after tank. It's the disconnect between the premium price tag and fuel consumption figures you might expect from a much older vehicle that makes this so difficult to overlook. And if the fuel economy is already making you reconsider, the next item on this list is going to hit even closer to home, because it's something you'll feel on every single drive, regardless of how far you're going. Number 2. So-so ride quality. The GV80 is going to get a lot of things right. The cabin is genuinely beautiful, the materials are impressive, the road noise isolation is excellent at highway speeds, but ask it to feel alive on a twisting road or handle an uneven surface with composure and the story changes. The suspension setup is tuned heavily toward comfort, which sounds like exactly what a luxury SUV should be doing. The problem is that it tips too far in that direction. Body roll is more pronounced than rivals at this price point, and the steering is light in a way that feels disconnected rather than relaxing. Most people buying a luxury SUV at this price aren't looking for a sports car, but there's a difference between a calm, planted ride and one that feels vague and unsettled when the road stops cooperating. Hit a long, sweeping on-ramp with any real confidence, and the GV80 starts to feel like it needs more convincing than it should. That's not a comfort trade-off. It's a handling gap. For buyers who've been driving a BMW X5 or Audi Q7 and are considering switching, this difference is going to be very noticeable on the first drive. To be fair, if your daily routine involves mostly highway miles and smooth suburban roads, the GV80 is going to feel composed and quiet. But the moment the road gets imperfect, and real roads always do, the chassis isn't going to respond with the same confidence you'd find from the German competition. Reviewers consistently point to this as one of the GV80's clearest weaknesses, and speaking of things that fall well short of what the price tag promises, the number one reason on this list is one that families will notice the moment they open that rear door for the first time. Number 1. Tight third row. Genesis markets the GV80 as a 3-row SUV, and technically it is. There are 3 rows of seating, but calling that third row functional for adults is a stretch. In practice, the rearmost row is going to be suitable for children and shorter passengers only. Anyone over about 5'6" is going to feel genuinely cramped back there. Think about the moment you actually need that third row. It's a family gathering, a holiday trip, or an airport run with extra passengers. You've bought a 3-row SUV specifically so that everyone fits, and that expectation is going to collide hard with the reality of what's back there. Legroom is tight enough to be uncomfortable on anything beyond a short trip. Getting in and out requires a level of flexibility that most buyers in this demographic aren't going to find enjoyable. It's a 2-step fold and squeeze process just to reach those seats, and once you're back there, headroom is limited enough that taller passengers will be sitting with a noticeable lean. Rivals like the Volvo XC90 and Lincoln Aviator handle the 3-row layout considerably better, offering usable third-row space for adults on a regular basis. This is the kind of thing that looks fine on a spec sheet and disappoints immediately in real life. If you're buying the GV80 specifically because you need that third row for grandchildren, extended family travel, or regular use, you're going to find yourself wishing you had chosen differently. The GV80 is a beautiful, well-crafted luxury SUV in many respects. But between the locking quirks, the missing hybrid option, the fuel economy figures, the soft handling, and a third row that rarely works for real passengers, there's a clear picture forming. One that deserves a very hard look before signing anything. Rivals come with drawbacks as well. Simply, it's the way today's market works, so even names like Kia Telluride, which are seen among class leaders, come with major limitations. Make sure to check out our next video and you'll find out why it may not be your best purchase.